Hi, welcome to the Boca Voice and Fact or Fiction Friday. Well, as this week started in Palm Beach County Days up in Tallahassee, the whirlwind started as Bob Weinroth decided that he was going to take his name out of the race in our city council race, and a few other people decided to go in. As seat D in our city council race with Monica Mayotte and Bob Weinroth were the only two people in, and Bob decided that he was going to come out. A few other people decided to go into that race. So now in seat D, we have Monica Mayotte, Paul Preste, Armand Grossman, and Michael Mullaugh, who is also a former city council member. And then in council seat C, we have Jeremy Rodgers, and now an opponent who's going to come in, which is Kim Doe. Now, as we go into this political season, which is March 13th, is going to be the actual election date. So as we go into this election cycle, we're going to have a lot of issues on the table. So as we start thinking about who we want to elect as our next candidate for city council, what are the platforms they're going to run on? What are the things that we want to see in our next city council member? Who do we want to replace Bob on city council? You know, Bob has done a great job. When you look at all of the things that Bob has accomplished on city council and the things that this city council has accomplished, they have seen a lot of great growth. The growth, whether you like the growth or you don't, it's brought a lot of good things to Boca Raton. Now, unfortunately, Bob Weinroth is going to be going up against a longtime friend and ally on city council for the seat on the county commission. So this is going to bring up other challenges as they go into the county commission race. That's going to bring additional challenges at the county commission level. One being a Democrat, one being a Republican. I'm sure that's going to have its own race, and as they go off onto their challenges, it's going to bring it back down into the city. So, getting into seat C, Jeremy versus the incumbent, and Kim being a newcomer into city Boca Raton politics, I'm sure that race will start to heat up a little bit. So, Boca politics has been a very turbulent political scene over the last few years. I'm sure it'll continue being a very turbulent scene over the next few years and over the next few months. What I caution you with is listen to the issues. Don't listen to the hype. Don't listen to the rhetoric. Listen to the issues. Make sure that you separate fact from fiction. Here it's always about separating the difference in between fact from fiction. We want to make sure that as each one of these candidates set their platform, we're going to be looking at each of the issues, making sure that the issue is correct. We're going to fact check. We're going to make sure that you know that if they're setting a statement, that statement is looked at. We're going to look at it, dissect it, and make sure that you have the right facts. Now, you as a voter have the right to choose your candidate. But when you're choosing your candidate, choose your candidate well. Because as they're sitting on that city council, you are going to be the benefactor of whatever they choose. You want to make sure that what they choose is in your best interest, not in the best interest of a select few, but in the select interest of the many. Far too often, municipal elections are very low turnout elections. What that means is that super voters come out, not the masses. And what that means is that very few people dictate who goes to office. And unfortunately, that means that very few people dictate who is making the policy of how the city is run. Now, that can hurt us very deeply. If you go back to, let's say, the Wildflower property, for instance, that Wildflower property was a very confusing vote. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, wow, we thought we voted to have a restaurant, and it turned out that they voted not to have a restaurant. And many other votes went that same way. So I can't stress enough on getting out the vote this time is crucial on March 13th. You have to get out and vote. So let's make sure that when we get out the vote, we get out the vote for the many, not just the select few. We look forward to seeing you next week on Fact or Fiction Friday. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to follow us online or on Facebook. And also, don't forget to sign up for our newsletter at thebocavoice.com.